The most celebrated are politicians, business leaders, and athletes and artists are not upon close examination particularly virtuous. Quite simply, notoriety is no indicator of character, and character is found in quieter places. That really struck me when I was looking for stuff, and I said, hey, that's the guy I want to go up to Albany, Maryland, and say a few words about, trying not to be too serious, but I did want to keep that in there because it certainly reflects some of the things about Tom and some of the things that he did. I did find some, as I said, beside the other stuff, I did some research. Again, I had a crack team of research analysts down in Calabash, North Carolina, on a barge out in the intercoastal, who did some research for me by the name of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. And they came up, and I wanted to know the definition of old. Okay, we look up the definition of old. I found a couple of things here. Old is an adjective. Having lived a long time, no longer young. No kid, you know, big deal. Old school. Anyone thing that is from an earlier era and looked upon with high regard. Good, use that. And then from the science stuff, it said, this was a study done in the year 2013. Of course, everybody's interested in this stuff. We used to use only one characteristic, their chronological age. Your true age is not just of the number of years that you lived. Okay. But then I came upon this and I said, Tom could explain this one to me later, and I really love this one. He said, it's a definition. We need different measures. Aging is multidimensional. By reconceptualization, aging to incorporate how people actually function. I thought, maybe Tom, when he gets up here, he can maybe explain what the hell that means, because I certainly don't. Let's say, I searching around, I came up with a whole bunch of stuff, wrote all kinds of stuff down, and trying to be, a little bit light about it. And I just heard Tom Hill mention about the practices, and he is dead right. I hated practice. I could care less for practice. I wanted my practice to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's including calisthenics and all that other stuff that we used to do. But I love game days. When game day came, man, I'm ready. My mind is going gazillion. And of course, Tom was just the opposite. We used to, back before we got our lights in 1978, we used to, of course, play on Saturday afternoon. We used to film our games, run them out to Hyattsville. We, the coaches, used to run them out to Hyattsville, Maryland to get them developed. This is 8mm stuff. And then on Monday afternoon, 3:15, whatever have you, film session. And I used to die in there. Kolar, we had an 8mm. You can imagine this. For 2.5 to 3 hours on this Monday afternoon, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was like, oh my God, how long are we going to be? That's the way he was. That's the way he is. Bless me, because I certainly couldn't do it. And I didn't do it. He also mentioned the scouting. Again, we played, before we had the lights, we used to, of course, play a Saturday afternoon. Of course, O'Connell over in Washington League played night games. So we played our 2 o'clock game, hopefully won that game, went out and had a couple of beers. And then, of course, scout time, over to O'Connell, sit in the stands, sit in the bleachers, watch everything except the game. Because we knew somebody was. I still remember this. We went down. I think it was either Eastern or Cardozo. This was before the problems we used to have. And we went down to scout on a Friday afternoon. We're down there, and it was beautiful and all that kind of stuff. We were playing. I believe we were playing Cardozo the next week, so we had to go and see what they were doing. And we went down there, and of course Tom, blah 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 blah. And of course he turned to me. What do you see? I said, hey, cheerleaders. really good. Just unbelievable. No, and that is a true story, because that's the way he was, that's the way he is, and that's the way he operated. Well, anyway, my Tom of old, I should say, and my old Tom concept, I just couldn't put anything in between that, because, as I said, there's not much of a difference as far as I know between. So when you try to contrast them, you have a tough time coming up with a story to tell. But I did come up with one story which I think is sort of true, and it